Hey guys, Peter here to tell you about the latest from Children of Bodom, a chapter called Children of Bodom, out December 15th on Spine Farm Records. This live album has 18 tracks, 78 minutes in length, and this is the band's third live album and final release. They are an iconic Finnish melodic death metal band. This is their final show, their final live show recorded in Helsinki's Ice Hall in 2019. One of those iconic performances for the ages. For those of us that weren't able to be there, this live album has a special meaning. It allows us to open a window into what it meant to be there on that night. But I think the album is equally important for those that attended the show because they're able to relive that experience once they press play on this record. I've seen Children of Bodom live plenty of times. The last time I saw them was during this last tour that they did in North America. And when I look at the set list on that tour and I look at the set list on this show, you can totally see the differences. This was a set list geared for that experience, geared for that last performance, where they represent their discography extremely well from the first all the way to the last song. You're able to navigate with the band through every record that they've released, through every song that has had a special place in the fans' hearts, and that becomes even more important and it solidifies the iconic status of the evening. Now when you look at those songs and you look at how they're put together, it really creates a journey filled with ebbs and flows, a journey that connects songs that have slightly different experiences, but they're all Children of Bodom, and I felt like they put together the perfect set list for what it became and what it was going in the band's final performance. Now when you look at the sound of this live album, I thought the mixing was on point. Every time I listen to a live record, I want two things. One, I want to hear the audience. I want to see the energy coming through in the tracks from an audience point of view. And I also want to hear the band, and I want to have a similar experience than the one that I have when I go see them live. And I think both elements are captured here. The experience from the audience, the energy of the audience comes through in between songs, but it also comes through within certain pockets of the songs that allow that energy to really pop and become a defining moment within the song. And this is important. It gives that extra energy, it grounds the record, and it solidifies its experience. Now as far as the sound of the band on this album, you hear everything that you want to hear. Starting off with really thunderous drums. The drums are really heavy and they come across very heavy, propelling the sound forward or becoming the backbone that pushes that sound forward, which has always been the case with Children of Bodom, but on this live record they capture that essence extremely well from the get-go. The keyboards pop a lot, which they always done when it came to a live performance by the band. So this live record was able to bring that melody, that keyboard melody, and just permeate through the sound. When you're listening to the keys on this live record, you almost feel like you were there because the sound is traveling not just in front of you, but through you and around you. The keyboards on this live recording have incredible movement. They're not stagnant. They create mobility within the tracks. So I can only imagine how it felt listening to it live. Besides the keys and the drums, you're also going to hear the bass really well. The bass has moments where it becomes a little bit more defined and then it becomes a little bit less defined in others, but that's normal. It's what you would expect. The fact that we get to hear as much as we do, it's a plus. The guitar sound is on point as I was expected to be. It's always been one of the highlights of seeing Children of Bodom live, was watching Alexi play. It's mesmerizing. You just kind of focus on his fingers with his painted nails and you see him just shred that guitar. It was one of the reasons I always wanted to be at the front on the rail during a Children of Bodom performance, because I wanted to just focus on his playing. It was just mesmerizing for somebody who doesn't play guitar to see somebody play at that level. It really boggles the mind. And to hear him play on this live album, I'm sure of the emotion that was going through, knowing that this would be the last time that he would be playing this song, these songs, at least in this format with this band. I'm sure it was emotional, I'm sure it was difficult, but at the same time rewarding, because you could see the legacy, you could see what you've created and how far you've taken your childhood dream. And the guitar playing on this record comes across with that kind of energy, with that kind of aroma, with that kind of emotion. It's really important. Daniel is the perfect partner for him, and I think the two of them worked really well leading up to obviously this live recording, but even beyond, and everything that they did together before. Two incredible, talented guitar players that just really knew each other well and enough to feed off of one another and give the songs the right energy, the right flow, the right attitude. And that is all captured on this live recording. Alexi's vocals are on point. He always had that raspiness, that delivery, that trademark approach, that attitude, that wild child attitude. And on this album, you could feel, maybe because of the length of the record, because of the length of the performance, not that he loses that attitude, not that he loses that strength, but it seems to me, listening to this album, that it came a little bit more natural in the first half of the record, and then he has to put into another gear in order to continue to have that same delivery throughout the second half. It was not as easy. It doesn't come across to being as easy. It comes across almost as a moment of just anger, of you knowing that you have to give it your best, you have to give it your all, and he does, bringing in more energy, bringing in more intensity into how he delivers those lyrics. Overall, if you're a fan of the band, this is a release that you can't miss. How are you going to have a collection of Children of Bodom? How are you going to own a discography of Children of Bodom and not have their last ever live album and their last ever live performance? I feel like this is one of those records. Just for that alone, you need to own it, you need to have it. And to me, it was almost a religious experience to listen to it. Like I said, not being there, but now being able to kind of travel through a very small window and at least hear what it meant for the fans and what it meant for the band. As far as favorite songs or standout tracks on this live recording, I gotta mention three for very different reasons. First, I want to mention Under the Grass and Clover. This is a track that opens up the live record. Now, I honestly really enjoy this song, but it's never really been a song that I gravitated towards. I wouldn't put this as one of my favorite Children of Bodom songs, not even close. But what a great opening track. It really sets the tempo, it really sets the energy. It's heavy, it's melodic. It's a nice way to get a show started. It's a nice warm-up song to a certain degree. And I think that the live album, this album specifically, really showcases how this track allows you to ease into the performance with a song that has a lot of Children of Bodom attributes, but maybe not being one of their greatest songs. It's still a fucking amazing live track nevertheless. And having it as an opening track on this album made me appreciate the song a lot more. The other track that I want to mention is Bodom Beach Terror. I had never heard this song performed live. So listening to it on this record was really interesting. Because it allowed me to hear the song live, it allowed me to experience it, allowed me to see it from a different angle, from a different perspective. And to me, when you come into a live record, if you can still at this point discover something new from Children of Bodom, you're winning as a fan. So I felt like I took even more out of this live record when I see a song like this being performed live. Last but definitely not least, the actual last song on the set list, Downfall. Now this is one of my favorite songs from Children of Bodom, a track that I really enjoy, but I have to admit, I feel like a little bit like a conspiracy theorist here. Downfall as the last track of the last show feels like a little bit of an encrypted message that perhaps Alexi saw this as the downfall of the legacy. I hope that's not the case. Maybe it's the downfall of a dream that he wanted to take it a step further, but he wasn't able to. Either way, I honestly feel like there is a deeper connection to the fact that this was a song that closed off the set, that closed off their last performance, the last song that Alexi ever performed with Children of Bodom. I don't think this set list, I don't think the order of these songs was by accident. So I honestly saw a little bit more, maybe than perhaps was meant to be seen, but I saw it nevertheless in having this song closing off the set. A great track, like I said, one of my favorite songs. This is an all-around great live album, great experience. It was great to hear Alexi's voice live with Children of Bodom in Helsinki. I can only imagine what the experience was for those that attended. If you were there, hit me up in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts about this live recording. and I'll see you all at the next video.